You ever been so excited for a game and then upon release date you go to watch the review or read the review and then the verdict is a 7 or below score, and now you're thinking to yourself, wow, I really don't want this game anymore. When did we as gamers to come to the idea that games with 7 and below scores are bad games? Because they're not. Here's some of my top games that got 7 and below, and after reading the reviews I'm stuck scratching my head thinking, why do I care about that? Let's talk about the issues with some of the reviews I read on some of my favorite games. Technical issues such as graphics and frame rates were one of the bigger parts of these. Frame rates I'm going to talk about first. I get people don't want their game slowing down, but normally when I have frame drops, it's at max for 10 to 15 seconds. And in no way am I going to let that steer me towards the idea that the game is awful and needs to be fixed whenever I still have 10 or 100 hours left to explore. That would be a bozo move for me to think they needed to fix it immediately. Next is graphics. Did we forget we came from PS1, PS2, and Xbox era? Or even way before then? I don't know, maybe you're playing Pong. Who knows? But don't you remember when the characters' heads looked like 3 boards nailed together, but yet you still loved the game? Now I do get it. New systems, you want enhanced graphics. I get that. But just because a game doesn't have God of War or Red Dead Redemption 2 graphics doesn't mean it can't be some of the most memorable experiences you'll have. Most of my top games are stuck in my head not because of graphics, but because of the gameplay and the story. Another issue that I absolutely hate and I can't agree with is slow pacing. I get it. Some games might seem slow, but what some people tend to forget is when you're reviewing something and they're trying to get the review out faster than other people, the experience is going to drag by. And that is the reason why a lot of these people say the story's dragging, just because it's not where they want to be. They want to be finished and they want to be moved on to the next game. So when you're telling me that the story drags, I don't believe anyone when they say that. I mean, they even said Vampire's campaign dragged by, and here it is sitting as my 2018 game of the year. My point is if you're going to say that the game drags on, at least say it for the right reasons, not because you're trying to put out your review faster than everyone else. Some reviewers' issues in games are more, well, political. I enjoy gaming because I love games. I don't care. But I'm not going to touch this subject. I'm going to stick this in the do not touch folder. One of my reasons why I take reviews with a grain of salt and I try and watch or read as many as I can is because of this one particular game. Everyone knows it. Rage 2. I was going to buy Rage 2 no matter what because I was such a big fan of number 1. But as I was looking at the reviews, one of them said that the game was anywhere from 30 to 50 hours long. Another one would say that the shooting was bloody fun. Another one would talk about the character building. Well, yeah, I did have a blast playing Rage 2 for the first, couple hours because the shooting is phenomenal. I definitely loved it. But the campaign was not 40 to 50 hours long. Whenever I reached 15 hours, I had the campaign complete and pretty much the whole map was done. That's one of the many reasons on why I buy games no matter what. But I also have to have a disclaimer. I don't tear down a game just because it's 3 to 10 hours long. I don't care about that. Witcher 3, I had 300 hours in, and I think that game's worth 60. The Darkness 2, back in 360 PS3 days, was roughly 3.5 hours. That game is still worth 60 in my opinion. It's one of the reasons why I never mention time, because I don't care how long a game is, as long as the experience of the game was awesome, your gameplay was fun, I'm down with it, and I'm not going to judge you for the time. To get my point across, when a reviewer gives a game a 7 or below, a lot of the times it's due to some technical issues, graphics and frame rates, what I just said. And there's a difference between frame rate drops and a game that crashes and ruins your system. And yeah, I'm hinting at Anthem, the game everyone grinded out for weeks and then dropped it because they were too embarrassed to admit they had a grain of fun. One of the most important things you need to remember when you're watching a review for a game is that that person most likely has different views than you on pretty much everything. The opinions will not be the same. That person might like pineapple on their pizza, and guess what? That's your worst nightmare. With that being said, why not go out and buy that game you thought looked awesome until the review came out? I remember watching a review done by ACG for Days Gone. Great guy with great reviews. He is one of my go-tos. His verdict was wait for a sale, but as I was watching the gameplay, I kept looking at my bank account, looking at the gameplay, looking back at my bank account, and instantly I just said, fuck it. I went to my local retailer, spent $60, and now here it is, 2019, my game of the year. It's just important that we have to look past the small issues to the bigger picture. So all in all, games with a 7 and below review score are not bad. People will have different opinions than you on different things, and games that do have review scores of 7 and below, most of the time it's just minor issues, but I mean, we all gotta look past that. They're awesome games, they deserve to be noticed. Now, for my review process, and it is not perfect, I am new to this, so I'm still working on some bumps and stuff like that, but I'm working it out. But see, I do a money scale where the game can't get more than what it's worth, but it never gets less than $1. And the reason for that is because no matter how bad the game is, it could be my least favorite game. It could be Paper Dolls, the game I said was worth $1 because I hated it that much. But if it was on sale for $1, I'm buying it because there is no game that I would not buy for $1. Every game was worth something. Just the work that any developer puts into a game. If it's bad, I'll give you guys $1. I'll give you guys $2. If it's super good, I'll give you 60. Or hell, I'll buy the collector's edition. But every game is always worth something. Now before I finish this up, there's a couple things I just want to reiterate. One, games that have scores of 7 and below are not bad, they are good. On top of that, remember that reviews are a, hey, heads up, this isn't a game. They're not a decision maker. Alright, and one more thing. There was this one game that got tons of hate. I mean, it absolutely got demolished by critics. And yeah, I own it physically. Agony. I bought this game for full price, and just because everyone said they hated it, I had to buy it. That's what kind of purchase this was.